Creative is back at it here to give everyone my very first Game of Thrones Season 5 episode review video. Before I get to that, though, pretty important if you're not caught up to the point where I am and rewatching or watching Game of Thrones, or you're just not entirely sure, then you definitely need to take the initiative and pay attention to the episode's title, which of course I'll say as well as put in the description for you. If that happens to be the case and you're not caught up, it would be my recommendation that you don't watch this video any further just to stay away from any potential spoilers. This will be Game of Thrones Season 5, Episode number 1. The title of this episode is called The Wars to Come. This will be my review, reaction, recap after just finishing watching the episode. So we start off with something that happened a long time ago, a very early on flashback that we never saw on the show. A very young Cersei meets Maggie the Frog, a fortune teller. Cersei demands to know whether or not she will marry Prince Rhaegar Targaryen, and will she have his children. Now, Maggie informs her that she will instead be wed to the king, which was Robert Baratheon, and she will have 3 children who will wear golden crowns, but also golden shrouds, meaning they will all die. And that another queen, younger and more beautiful than Cersei, will cast her down. Interesting stuff there. Cersei arrives at the Septa Baelor to pay her respects to Tywin and chastises Jaime for freeing Tyrion. At the wake, Cersei is approached by Lancel, who has become a member of the Sparrows, a religious group devoted to the faith of the Seven. Lancel apologizes to Cersei for their affair and for getting Robert drunk before the hunt, in which he was mortally wounded, but Cersei just doesn't really care, is pretty much ignoring him. We haven't seen Lancel Lannister since, I think, Season 2, Episode 9, Blackwater. So it's been a while. We didn't see him at all in Season 3 and Season 4, to my recollection at least. Marjorie catches Loras abed with Oliver and warns him to be more discreet. Oliver's like, "What? How can he be discreet around here? Everybody knows everything that's going on." And Loras tells Marjorie that no one can force Cersei to marry him now that Tywin is, in fact, dead. But Cersei will remain in King's Landing instead of going to Highgarden. And then Marjorie hints that she has a solution. Tyrion and Varys arrive in Pentos. Varys tells Tyrion that he and Lirio Pottis, I'm not sure how to pronounce that name, worked in a secret to make Daenerys the new ruler of Westeros, and convinces him to travel to Meereen to meet her. Now, this was more towards the beginning of the episode. One of the Unsullied is killed by a member of the Sons of Harpy, basically a group of former masters. Now, Daenerys orders Grey Worm to find the killer. Daario Naharis and Hizdahr return from Yunkai and tell Daenerys that the wise masters will turn over power to the council of former slaves and former masters in return for reopening of the fighting pits where slaves fought to death. Daenerys, of course, refuses. Despite Daario's insistence that she reconsider, Daenerys visits her dragons under the Great Pyramid, but leaves when they try to attack her. Well, they've been locked up down there for a while, and they're getting bored and restless, so I don't blame them. Lord Young Royce agrees to take Robin Arryn as his ward. Baelish tells Royce that he and Sansa will travel to the Fingers, but instead they head west. Meanwhile, Brienne and Podrick ponder their next move, unaware that Sansa's carriage with Baelish had just literally passed them. And then this is some things that happened at the early on stages of the episode, and then something that happened at the end. Stannis Baratheon wants Jon to persuade Mance Rayder to bend the knee and have the wildlings fight for Stannis so that he can take back the north from Roose Bolton. Unfortunately for Jon, Mance refuses and is sentenced to burn at the stake. So they do start to burn Mance Rayder, and then he starts to make a lot of noise, and then out of mercy, Jon shoots him dead before he succumbs to the fire, and that's how the episode ends. So, in my opinion, not the best premiere until the very end where Mance Rayder got burned. Other than that, it was kind of lackluster, at least to me. Seemed a lot different, but, I mean, it was still entertaining to a degree, I think. Interesting to see what happens with Sansa and Baelish. I like the stuff with Jon Snow, and that's what I have to say about that. As far as the score of the episode, I'm going to give this episode a 7.9 out of 10. I felt like it wasn't a premiere that delivered for me. Because of what he did for Mance Rayder, I'm going to give the character of the episode to Jon Snow. So you've heard what I have to say. Now it's, of course, your turn. If you're a fan of Game of Thrones, even if you don't like the last couple seasons, but if you're a fan in general of the show and like discussing it, make sure you smash that like button. If there's anybody out there that you know that would be interested in this review, go ahead and share the video with them. Don't forget to sound off in the comment section about your thoughts. What would you score this episode? Who would be your standout character of the episode? What are your favorite moments from the episode? Or realistically, anything Game of Thrones related? And of course, last but certainly not least, I definitely want to grow this channel. So don't forget to hit that sub button, subscribe to the channel, join the team, show your damn support, and be a part of something special. And JDev will return.